right. Anyway, I'll butt out and you two get going.
Okay, wait,
Cool.
let's just get some quick. Is our audio okay? We're doing live setup here. Chat, please.
Should be good.
Yeah.
All
Given
nice
that
and
no one's
balanced.
yelled at us yet, I would assume we're fine.
Yeah.
So we could probably get rolling here.
All right. So I'm gonna jump into this pipe and get the run going. So yeah, this is Super Mario Land 2. You have played this game as a kid, I know it. I've done so. And this is
What
the
if I
Glitchless
didn't?
category. Yep,
I
yes,
didn't
bro.
actually play this game as a kid. I only
You
had
did
Super
not.
Mario Land 1.
Well, that's a game.
It sure is. Yeah,
I think I've
but this
played that
game-
one as well.
Yeah, Odir's kind of good at that one too, so... Yeah, this is Super Mario Land 2.
This is my
It's
main
the
game.
SMW of Game Boy Mario games.
Don't say
Literally.
I'm very thankful for you jumping in on very short notice for co-commentating with me, but don't do that. Come on. How could you?
I'll see myself out. I understand. Hey, you beat the first level. Good job.
Indeed, I didn't
Proud.
even say anything about it because, well, there's not much to say in the first level. I can point out a few of the speed tags I was already using here. Like, you can see me jump at those corners of blocks. Oh, not supposed to be down here. You can do something called corner boosts in this game. Just jump at the end of corners and get pushed 1 pixel forward.
Neat.
It doesn't...
So is there not isn't there a super jump in level 1, right?
There is, yeah. We can get to a more, like, crucial super jump in level number 4, I guess, if we count it like that. So,
Sounds
the
good.
thing in this game is you have, well, very distinct jump heights. It depends on how many, well, that makes sense, on how many pixels you hold down your jump button. And you have 27 distinct jump heights in this game. And the thing is, this game also seems to have a very basic physics engine implemented, which like slows you down when you stop running. But not immediately like Super Mario Land 1, for example, but you just slowly stop moving. And the same thing applies to... Oops, hit that cowfish. Same thing applies to jumping. Like, you don't just abruptly stop in the air and fall down, but it's a smooth curve, I want to say. And that way, if you release your jump button at the right time, you will keep rising for a bit longer than what would happen if you just released the jump, or if you didn't release the jump button at all. Like, the game is programmed in a way that after 26 frames, you just start falling. The 26 frames of holding the jump button means fall. You can avoid that by letting go of the jump button a frame earlier and use the momentum that I was talking about. And here's that one super jump right there, which I had to get up to these platforms. And that way I'm skipping pretty much the whole level. It's a level that you're supposed to go right, up, left, up, right, but you can just take a shortcut if you want and go diagonally up.
Yeah, the skip in that level is really precise, but Deer makes it look easy.
It's
We've
not
been so
that
busy talking
precise.
about the super jump that we didn't even talk about the bunny ears, which are like the Super Mario Land 2 thing. Deer is just mashing right now to basically float in the air, and I mean that's kind of it.
That's
Is
pretty
there
much
like
it.
a certain rhythm that you're mashing to, or is it just as fast as possible?
I guess you can do it rhythmically if you want to be efficient, but you don't have to be efficient, you can just mash away. And if you
Alright.
stay above like 6, I want to say 6 mashes per second, you should be fine and not lose too much height. I guess in reality it's mostly between 8 and 10, for me at least. It's easily humanly possible to do.
And that was our first boss fight.
Exactly.
Like,
Bosses in this game or boss fights in this game look all very similar. The
Yeah.
difficulty is not the boss fight itself, it's getting the right power-up into the boss fight.
Yeah. Yeah, as with any Mario game, maintaining your power-up state is really important. Alright, so this is like the most difficult level in the run.
It is. I'm holding
Wow.
a single button right now.
Wow.
I mean, you
Sweating
can
here?
mess up this level by jumping into that bubble at not full running speed, because that running speed is maintained in the bubble.
Oh, neat. Yeah, but maintaining your power-up state is really important. So right now we have a Fire Flower, which interestingly uses the Cape Feather from Super Mario World. I don't know. I mean, whatever it is, it's an improvement over Super Mario World, so shrug. And yeah, now we've floated in a bubble into space.
Yeah, the space level, or this first level, has very interesting properties, physics-wise. You can see me trying to walk as much as possible on even these small platforms, even those little pillars and stuff, because walking is actually faster on this level than floating through the air. Oops, I messed up that one. How do I do this now? I fell down where I shouldn't have fallen down, but let's just do it the slow way. And yeah, also because walking is slow, I'm gonna just tank those spike hits there, because it lets me walk a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
don't
with the
need my
next
power-ups
phase,
for the next level, because I can
Yeah,
grab...
we can get more power-ups.
Yeah. This level is kind of well known, mainly because it has music.
It's the Star Song.
It is the Star Song.
I can't actually hear your game audio. Otherwise, I would totally sing.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to see me singing, just go find Super Mario Land 2 VOD from Games Finished Adequately at EGLX. I sang in that one. Just like start playing that over this run, and it'll be basically the same thing.
I'm just gonna pretend I'm also not able to hear game audio, so I cannot sing either. Let's go with that.
Yeah, that's the excuse.
I mean, I could also tell you that I cannot sing at all, and that's why. So, if you want to keep your ears, you're not ever suggesting to me that I shall sing the Star Song.
Yeah. So while we've got a little bit of time here, one thing we should probably talk about on the little bottom bar UI. There's a little Goomba icon, and I believe it says 35 right now.
Yes.
That is a mechanic unique to Super Mario Land 2, as far as I know. The enemy kill count. When you reach 100 enemy kills in this game, on that 100th enemy kill, that enemy will drop an invincibility star, which is pretty neat. Naturally, this is something we're going to take advantage of in the speedrun, such that we're going to be metering our kills in order to hit 100 in the final level of the game during a very specific section of Wario's castle, in order to skip a bunch of slow stuff. So keep your eye on that counter throughout this run. Deer is going to be adjusting kills in real time based on what he does or doesn't do earlier, to make sure he has exactly the number he needs going into Wario's castle.
That was an amazing explanation.
Thank you, I try.
Yeah,
Comes
you
from
mentioned
all of those
you mentioned
many
earlier.
Oh Dear streams I've watched.
You mentioned earlier that maintaining the power-ups is important. That's also because you want to keep the Fire Flower to kill certain enemies.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
both.
Boss number 2 here, Tatanga. There's a very quick kill method.
Oh, Tatanga. What a guy.
Didn't get...
Destroyed many of both Super Mario Land runs.
Yeah, it's actually the final boss of the first Super Mario Land game. And here we just meet him again, because why not? It's a nice throwback. I like that they put him in both Game Boy games.
Yeah. The lore.
So optimally,
Oh.
I want to maintain at least one power-up there, in order to not make the next level slow. But since I didn't manage to do that, I shall take a little detour and grab an extra mushroom here, for the sake of the marathon.
Yeah.
Because there's a very difficult and tight backup that I could do, but it's really not worth it.
Oh, Macro Zone. This game has a lot of unique properties that I really like. One thing is, I think I guess this isn't super unique, but, you know, there are really two power-ups. I mean, there's the mushroom, sure, but, like, you know, the true power-ups are the fire flower and the bunny ears. And I think those are both really unique, at least distinct from each other in meaningful ways, which makes this game fun both casually and as a speedrun. And then the other thing, just like the overworld map in this game, you know, it's big, all of the zones are completely different. It's kind of open world in a way. I guess maybe not open world is the right term. Some video game person is going to yell at me for that. But you can go to any of these 6 zones in any order you want, which is pretty neat.
Yeah, and even in the
Different than
speedruns,
your standard.
even in the speedruns that used to play a role, like the early speedruns of this game had a different zone order than the current ones. Because people just like to go in a different direction first to get difficult levels out of the way.
Yeah, so we took the secret exit there, which required using the fire flower to break those blocks after hitting those hidden blocks on the air to get up into that pipe. And so now we have a nice little auto-scroller, and that's going to save us doing 2 other levels in Macro Zone, I believe.
Yeah. The other levels are not particularly difficult, but of course 2 versus 1 level, they just take longer. That's why we obviously take the secret here. It's the only secret level that actually has progression in the game. All other secret levels are one-ways.
Oh, neat. Yeah, the only other one I know of is in the spooky zone. Pumpkin zone, even.
Yeah, Pumpkin Zone actually has 2 secret levels.
Hey, I thought we said this was glitchless.
Well, you just saw me abuse intended game mechanics. Obviously.
Oh, of course.
What? Like, you have the opportunity to slide into gaps, right? Which I just did.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
perfect.
okay.
Perfectly fine.
Okay, alright, I can get behind that.
Yeah, what would the game developers think, though? Like, you slide into a gap, what then? You cannot walk while being ducked in a gap, so you have to implement something. Something like pushing Mario out to the right. That's just what happened there.
I mean, hey, fair enough. It's just an extension of the game's collision engine. You know, if collisions against walls are considered glitches, then, I guess. Alright, well, you've sold me on the fact that this continues to be a glitchless run. Nice boss fight.
Yeah, there's actually one place in the game where you can see that the developers intended that, because you have to jump to get a power-up into one of those one-tile-high gaps, and there's just no other way to get out of that than to get pushed out. And here's Spooky Zone, as we've already mentioned. It's one of the more, I want to say, consistent zones in the speedrun. There's not too many difficult tricks that can, like, go somewhat wrong. Either something goes completely wrong, or everything is fine here. We're not gonna lose a lot of time in this zone.
If you have a moment for a donation, I have one.
Go ahead.
Cool. I have $16 from Lori D. Bunnykins saying...
Hi, Lori!
Hi, Lori. Saying, thanks for letting me run earlier. No problem. No problem, Lori. She also says, good luck to every other runner for this marathon. Thanks.
Thanks, Lori. So, second level here. There's really not much going on here, except for me managing my kill count again. This is one of those levels where you can, like, kind of fix your kill count if you're low or too high. I'm looking, want to have, like, 82, 83-ish kills leaving this level. I'm a bit high at the moment. Like, I'm not high at the moment, but my kill count is. So I'm just gonna skip 1 or 2 enemies here. There we go.
These little layered roofs are weird. Because, like, you wouldn't think you'd be able to jump on them. You'd think you bonk your head on the ceiling at the bottom of it. and maybe be able to get up on the roof. But now you can jump on each individual tile,
Yeah.
which is interesting.
Like not only tiles, I think there are even like half tiles in between them. It's very interesting.
Neat. Yeah, that's the thing with the Game Boy. You know, if you've ever played Super Mario Land 1, you've probably noticed that the tile size can be extremely small on the Game Boy. So half tiles are pretty common.
Yeah, there are not many instances in this game. Like there are some, like just more slim platforms, I guess. There are a lot of them in Mario Zone, for example, where you can clearly see you can jump through them, and I think that's what they intend to show you by, hey, there's a thin thing, that's not a proper block you cannot pass through. But yeah, those roofs are different. It's not obvious.
I gotta say, the Ghost Goombas, some A+ enemy design right there. Those things are just wonderful in every way.
If anyone saw Darbian do his 12-hour challenge in this game, you know that he's also very fond of the Ghost Goombas. Like,
oh, I didn't know that. Well,
he was just fawning over them whenever he came across them. It's
I
very
mean,
funny.
they're great.
They
They're just
are.
like little ghosty boys. I love them.
I mean, it's a recurring
So we
theme.
have
Like
the bunny ears now, a little different than what you'd expect for a boss fight. This is probably maybe the second most interesting boss fight after Tatanga. We're gonna be doing a little different than our normal like fire flower strats here. I mean, basically we're gonna hop on the witch and then try and hover over to the next form if necessary.
actually, you saw me doing a somewhat new strat, which pretty much.
Really? Yeah, I was talking with like, well, gee, he's not doing what I'm describing.
Yeah. Like the thing with the witch is it's a completely random boss. Or we haven't figured it out yet. You cannot predict the pattern. I think it's based on the like frame you enter her room, what pattern you will get, and you just cannot plan ahead by frames. It's just not a thing. So yeah, what you saw me do is just a normalized setup. Whoops, changed my color there. A normalized setup for... Like, if I guess the pattern right, I will hit her earlier than I could when I react. That's pretty much it. So I'm just guessing there. And some empirical studies have shown that the pattern left, right, left is more common than other patterns. Just by a little bit. It's a bit above 35%. And that's why I just always go for that one. And, well, in 35-ish% of the cases I get lucky, and the rest I'm well, just losing the time.
So this level here, this is basically a big maze, I believe. And there are Gordos. Gordos, what are you doing here? Go back to your game.
Yeah, Kirby's Dream Land was released in, I think, May 1992. This game was released in September or October the same year. Either they just had the assets laying around, or they actually wanted to reference the game.
I mean, knowing Nintendo and HAL Laboratories probably wanted to. I mean, if you ever look at like Link's Awakening and Link's Awakening DX, those games are full of like Mario and Kirby enemies.
Yeah.
The dunk. Easy.
Or
super
even Doki Doki Panic enemies. You have Ward the Frog recurring.
Indeed. Nice little damage boost there to save the frames.
Whoops. Fell into the water. So this is one of the more demanding levels, I want to say. There are a few tight places here where I just don't want to get hit by anything.
Oh yeah, this level is intense. Luckily they offer you Some bunny ears right there. And we're just gonna throw them away because keeping them is slow.
Yeah, damage boosts or like abusing iframes in this game is very convenient because you don't lose your momentum. You can just keep going the same speed. So we abuse that a lot. And one more of the standard boss fights right here.
Yeah, this one's
Got my
super
power up.
exciting.
Mash away.
Wow. Super exciting.
Yeah. Like, I'm not sure if I would prefer more tricky boss fights. I guess at this point I would, because I've been playing this game so much and for so long. Maybe they could have done more, but then again, it's one of the earlier Game Boy games.
Yeah. I don't know, I feel like this game did, you know, plenty for the era. I mean, I'm sure they could have done more, but that would have just been like, okay, well, we'll release this game another 6 months later in exchange for, you know, 2 more zones.
Yeah.
It's just like, well, how about they release a game? And, I mean, you're the one who's helped with, like, SML2 randomizer and stuff, so I would definitely not be the person to make a statement on this, but I'm sure at some point they would run into, you know, memory size limitation. I don't know how big this game is relative to the Game Boy's, what, like 32 kilobytes of cartridge size or something?
It's one of the bigger games, like it's 512 kilobytes unpacked. Which I think is the maximum Game Boy card size. I'm not sure. I don't want to talk nonsense. But I think the Game Boy Color games start at 1 megabyte, or well, can easily have 1 megabyte. This one has half of that, which is a lot for a Game Boy game.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on here. These levels are very large and very diverse, especially compared to Super Mario Land 1.
Yeah, and at least the levels are in memory all the time, I guess, so you can go back, which you cannot do in SML1. Yeah, you would just flutter a bit more. You can do this level without bunny ears, but you have to do some precise jumps to not lose time there. Whoops. Like, the bunny ears levels are not that exciting. Fluttering over stuff is convenient, but it's not the most difficult thing ever.
Yeah. I remember playing through this casually. I had no idea you could just walk on these things. I thought you had to ride the little grabby hands. And then you just watch Sphere and it's like, oh, you can just... Yeah, okay, you can just walk on that thing. Cool. Sounds good.
That's what I meant earlier. Like, Mario Zone has those half tiles and those sprites right there, those platforms. They are only like half the width of normal platforms, so maybe that was their intention. Look, this doesn't look solid. Maybe you can jump on it.
Maybe I'm just not an observant enough player, I suppose. Shoutouts to totally not copyright infringement building blocks TM stage.
Yeah, I think by this point, at least a few people have heard about this, but Nintendo actually has its own brand of building blocks called N&B blocks. I think it just stands for Nintendo and Blocks. Very creative.
Wait, really? That's amazing. I had no idea. And so then the boss of the Mario Zone is the three little pigs because, reasons.
Yeah, I guess Japanese like they are, like Western fairy tales and fables. So,
yeah. Why not?
But yeah, the thing about N&B blocks, Nintendo has had that brand since the 60s, I think. So it's not a new thing, or like nothing that they tried to advertise through Game Boy games. It has already been a thing. And Lego actually sued Nintendo over this in, I think, the late 80s. And they actually lost that case, so Nintendo is perfectly fine selling those. I think until today. So we've collected all our coins here, and I'm entering like an actually difficult level here. So far it's been easy going, but this level is something else.
Music is a jam, though. So yeah, notice that 99 kill count is going to allow Deer to get an invincibility star exactly where he wants one. Also, lots of damage boosts, you know, because this level isn't hard enough to do fast. These flying platforms.
I tried to go all in and go for a, like, pretty much frame perfect castle here, but I messed up one section majorly. Now it's gonna be slow.
Those like hover platforms have really weird hitboxes.
I mean, they are fine. They're just lower than normal
jumping.
platforms.
They're like trigger tiles on the floor that trigger a trap, which is why Deer was jumping and nothing was happening. Oh right, I remember where you use the star now. I was like, wait, where do you use the star? But no, I remember the little ball friends coming up.
Yeah, we talked about the kill count here, and here's exactly where I use it. There's my star.
Ooh, the lag.
And otherwise I would have to kill these faces
Kill
one by
that
one.
And then use the star to take out the other two. And the other two. And now it's Wario time.
The Wario fight is kind of interesting because it's a partially scripted fight, depending on your in-game timer. So I entered the second room when the in-game timer had a 0 in its last digit. That way I know that Wario will drop right about there. Otherwise he would flutter through the room a bit longer, and I would have to wait for him to come down, which is obviously slow.
Nice phase 2. I really like this fight, how Wario gets to use the power-ups.
Yeah.
I think it's just like a well-designed boss fight. I'm a fan. And time's coming up. I believe it's just last hit here, correct?
Exactly. The third hit is when the timer ends.
Well,
And
there you go. GG.
Well, here we can say something about the story of the game, I guess, now that it's over. Mario came back from his adventures in Sarasaland and just found his castle occupied by Wario, which he, I guess, hadn't known until then. But from here on out, it should become his arch-nemesis, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, Wario is actually introduced in this game. And,
Yeah.
well, we have our castle back. And Wario sets out on his journey to amass riches and treasures to get some property of his own.
Yeah. Thank you, Mario. Your quest is over. Oh, Daisy. Oh, wait, wrong game. So yeah, that's Super Mario Land 2. Now,
Played the normal way.
if you want to see Super Mario Land 2, except you don't actually want to see Super Mario Land 2, but you want to, like, go so far from seeing Super Mario Land 2 that you are seeing Super Mario Land 2 deeper than you ever thought possible. Stay tuned, because next we're going to do a bonus glitched run of this game, where, to make a long story short, we are literally going to walk through the game's memory.
Nice. Hey, while you get that set up, can I plug some of our donation incentives?
Are you asking us? Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yeah, this is asking me to make sure.
Sure. Go ahead.
I have, well, one, I have a $10 donation from Allie, the purveyor of the event.
Oh, hi, Allie.
who puts in the first Sonic OC. So now you have a contender for a Sonic OC.
Nice.
If you're gonna donate for that. So definitely do that soon. That's coming up. It's only a couple hours until the Sonic Forces run. And also I want to remind y'all that we were talking about the Nights into Dreams a little while ago. But we should also discuss the Junior % bonus run for Pugsy is another $250. And there are no donations for that right now, so better get those donations in if you want some extra Pugsy. Go ahead.
I can see why, because people have never heard of Pugsy, but like, trust me, you want that Pugsy run. Pugsy is incredible.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, we have one Pugsy run, but 2 runs would be even better. So
literally, like the goodness of your marathon is like 100% determined by the amount of Pugsy. So if you want Power Up with Pride to be twice as good, let's make extra Pugsy happen.
That's true. I've seen the scientific white papers that say that is the case. It's been clinically proven to make your marathons better. Anyway, I will give it back to y'all because it looks like you're ready to go for the glitched run.
Yes.
Yeah.
So just a few words ahead of the run because things will go fast and will be over very soon.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do the fastest route possible because if you want to go really fast, you are relying on frame-perfect tricks. I'm going to just cut out one of those frame-perfect tricks, which if I wouldn't get it, it would just cost me 25 seconds. It wouldn't be worth it. The second one I can reset quicker, so I can point out what I'm doing at the second part. The first level, I'm just going to play normally. So yeah. Let's just go here.
Woo. Yeah, so now it's time for the Super Mario Land 2 glitch run, in which Mario, now bored of reconquering castles, has decided to transcend reality itself and, like, go deep into the inner workings of the very universe. Starting by escaping the bounds of his video game. This run is absolutely wild. Like, I promise I'm not overhyping this at all. But for now, we just have to do a bunch of really silly-looking stuff that's gonna set us up to do the really weird stuff later. And I believe we're just gonna be starting off by doing this level more or less normally.
Actually, completely normally. Like, there are several marathon safe routes. I'm gonna show off the one with one of the frame-perfect tricks. So for that, I have to leave this level while being Small Mario. Because if you're as good as Oh Dear, frame-perfect tricks are totally marathon safe. I mean, I think a reset here loses you about 7 seconds, so that's fine. Like that. The thing I want to do there is I want to enter that pipe while getting hit by that boulder. Exactly the same frame.
Yeah, so you'll be able to hear this with an audio cue while you'll hear the death sound and the pipe sound. And that's how you'll know Deer got it. So he's just going to keep doing this until then. It's really convenient that this pipe is right here.
Exactly. So that was second try. That was pretty good for a marathon.
Nice.
We are not out of the woods yet. There's something very unreliable here. I have to land on a certain pixel with a certain setup, and that actually worked. Interesting. Like it's very
nice.
finicky to get that. Whoops.
Yeah, so now we're in the game's memory. This is, and now we're back because this speedrun.
Exactly. Like I went there to. Whoops. Oops, that's bad. Let's
I
retry
believe
that.
you're flipping a flag in the game's memory for this first little thing here, correct?
Correct. You flip the map, the flag, for like this level is completed, and that way you can just quit out of the level by pressing Start and Select the next time you enter it. Which, like, well, you don't have to play through the level like that. very convenient. And now you see me like maneuvering through this mess here. I've memorized pretty much where I can step and where I cannot step. And like there are invisible obstacles in here that can just damage Mario or get you stuck. You want to avoid those. Right here, I'm just gonna take my time here now. Like I slid under a invisible block here. Above me is a block, and that block would usually prevent me from going down this pipe or this half pipe I'm standing on. So I had to slide onto a specific pixel, like it's only that one pixel, which I'm on right now. And you can only enter a pipe when Mario is standing up, but I'm in a one-tile gap now. So I have to stand up for exactly 1 frame and then press down. Conveniently enough, you can do this with a pause buffer if I can time it properly. Like that.
Nice.
The frame perfect tricks are very abundant in this category.
Yeah.
Oops, I went a way that I didn't want to go here. That's fine.
Yeah, so again, a reminder, this is literally like the zeros and ones of the game's memory that we are walking through right now. So, you know, in addition to like in-game danger, where, you know, certain tiles have like damage hitboxes and stuff like that, Deer has to be very careful to not break the wrong blocks that could just mess up the game itself. And so what we're going to do here now, we've made it kind of to the bottom, I guess you can call it that. Again, game's memory. It's weird.
This is actually the representation of the SRAM, so the save RAM of the game. Which is also the reason why we have to start on completely empty save games, because otherwise we would see some different things down here, which could potentially break our run.
Yeah. And so we're just going to walk through here until we essentially find the start the credits flag and turn it on.
That's exactly the block I'm standing on. I'm just going to break that block, quit out of the level, re-enter the level, and we win the game.
GG.
Thanks.
What a game.
That's SML2.
When conquering land isn't enough for you, take a page out of Mario's book. Conquer the laws of the known universe itself. That's Super Mario Land 2. Good job.